morning, good morning. Welcome to the Judy and Doug Lowry Spay Neuter Clinic. We're so excited to be here this morning. You know, how really appropriate is it that we're gathered here on Valentine's Day, a day of love? This facility would not be possible without the love and generosity of Judy and Doug Lowry. So let's give them a great big hand. Thank you. It was their vision to see this clinic to help impact not only Johnson City, Washington County, but the whole region. We talk about things in today's world as being generational changes. This clinic is truly a generational change. We will impact the pet population, not only in our county and our city, but in the whole region. For that, we're very, very thankful. I want to have a few people come up and speak, and really one of the big, big driving force behind what you see here today is former mayor, city commissioner, and just a fantastic community leader. The past president of the Animal Shelter, Jenny Brock.
Let's get everybody to move on over. Come on. There we go. Don't be afraid. Just come on over. I'm going to put my hands down, first of all, to say good morning, everybody, and happy Valentine's Day. What a great day. I want to begin my remarks with a quote from James Herriot. That was the pen name for Alf White, who was a British veterinarian, and we all know him from All Creatures Great and Small. He said, if having a soul means being able to feel love and loyalty and gratitude, then animals are better off than a lot of human beings. I hope to make people realize how totally helpless animals are, he said, how dependent they are on us, how trusting they are of us, trusting that we will be kind, take care of their needs. Animals are an obligation put on us, a responsibility we have no right to neglect, nor to violate by cruelty. I'm certain a community is judged by how it meets this creed. Thank you for coming today to help us celebrate a great accomplishment. We are dedicating a facility that so many dreamed of for so long, and today is the day that all of us can take a bow. Today we open officially the only high-volume, low-cost spay neuter clinic in our area. And since it took so long to make it so, it also took many hands to make it so, and none so great as our donors, Judy and Doug Lowry. We are so grateful to them for all they have done. Can we have a big round of applause for Judy and Doug? Judy and Doug have lived James Herriot's beautiful words that we will be kind and take care of their needs. And they have demonstrated that over the many, many years, they have cared for our animals, and they have supported and helped fund the shelter that is over on this end. One of the things that they have done is help us care for the over 4,000 animals that come through the doors of the shelter every single year. We know, too, that our employees, who are amazing people, who are headed up by Tammy Davis, you'll hear from in just a minute, care for our hotel guests. And, you know, over 98% of our animals find their forever homes after they come through the shelter, only because of the incredible efforts of all who work and volunteer here. When Judy and Doug first approached us about building the Spay Neuter Clinic, it was because they knew the only way we could reduce the number of abandoned, homeless, mistreated, and unwanted animals was to reduce the number of unplanned litters. And that was by developing a community approach to spay and neuter. Thus, it moved from a dream to a blueprint and then to a building. But it only became energized into a state-of-the-art clinic by the awesome team of highly skilled animal medical professionals who you will meet as you tour the facility. But they can raise their hands right now. Let's give them a hand. So this is what we celebrate today, the official opening of the Judy and Doug Lowry Spay Neuter Clinic. We're so proud to have a beautiful mosaic of their pets, as you will see off to your left, my right. And their pets will greet everyone who enters the doors. The mosaic was created by artist Angelique Fraley, and it is one of a kind. As I said, it took many hands to make this happen in one way or another. And I'd like to recognize the many of those who are here today. First, to the 140 or so dogs in the kennel today, and the over 200 or so, 240 cats who are in the kennel, in the shelter today. We think they probably were just so excited to get this opened. Not. Because as they see their friends coming back with a cone on their head, they're going, we're next, I know. But folks, I want to bring attention to the employees and the volunteers of the Johnson City, Washington County Animal Shelter. So if you're a volunteer or an employee of the shelter, would you raise your hand, please? All right, let's give them a huge, huge, big hand. Also want to recognize the city and county help fund animal control and the adoption center. I think we have Vice Mayor Aaron Murphy here with us. Thank you, Aaron. Do we have any other city folks here? Okay, I don't see them. And when Mayor Grandy gets up, he'll introduce any Washington County leaders. So finally, I will kind of turn this over in just a minute. But I do want to recognize a group of people who really made all this behind us happen. Tammy Davis, our executive director, headed up a clinic task force that was made up of Ken Huffine, Dr. Sally McLean, who is our veterinarian consultant and on the board, the Animal Control Board. Linda Bearfield, you're here, right? Raise your hand, thank you. And Andrew Tepe, who is the clinic manager, was on this board. And they planned. And then we let people like Randy Trivet with the city and Brian Ross with the city be our construction managers and work with GRC, who was just a fantastic contractor. We did a design build with them. Deneen West is here. Would you raise your hand? She was the architect and designer who worked so much with our task force and with Tammy to get what you're going to see when you go in. So thank you so much to GRC. You were amazing. Is Debbie Dobbs here? We invited her to come. We thought she was going to come, but I did want to bring attention that Debbie was the manager of the clinic, the shelter over on Sells Avenue before it moved over here. And I wanted to just call her out and thank her for her years of service and caring for animals. There's one other person that I want to introduce to you if you don't know her. She is a very dear friend of mine, and it's Deborah Van Brocklin. Deborah, would you raise your hand? Deborah was the wife of Ralph Van Brocklin, and I think everybody knows Ralph. He was a passionate advocate for animals, but more than that, he was a passionate advocate to make the place where we care for animals better. And his driving force helped get the new shelter in place. He was an amazing person and a dear friend. Deborah, I am so happy you came this morning. So I'll finish the way I began. Animals are an obligation put on us, a responsibility we have, and we have no right to neglect them nor to violate with cruelty. The Washington County Johnson City Animal Shelter now, with the addition of the the Judy and Doug Lowry Spay Neuter Clinic is one of our anchors that we can claim as we meet that obligation. So I want to pass the microphone now to Pete Peterson. Pete is our retired city manager, and he put in motion the construction of the new shelter, I think in 2015 or 16 when it was completed, and then put in motion this clinic before he retired last year. So Pete, if you just say a couple of words, please.
Thank you, Jenny. Thank all of you for being here with us today. This is a long journey that you see behind us. It's new and it's shiny today, but believe me, there are many scars and long conversations and wringing of hands. For those of you who don't remember the former shelter over on Sells Avenue, it was a very small, cold, drab, damp, uncomfortable place for animals as well as humans. There were more animals kept outside than there were inside the building through the winter. And speaking of Debbie spent lots of early mornings and late evenings over there breaking water in water bowls because the animals were forced to be kept outside all the time. And we recognized a great need for a new shelter. Conversations started and stopped many times, and we eventually got some momentum, and I can't give enough recognition and appreciation to our dear friend Ralph for really making this wheel start to turn. I mean, he was tenacious, he dug in, he was going to make sure that this happened. It didn't matter what else in the world was going on, we were going to have a new animal shelter. So we spent quite a bit of time trying to figure out the funding, the politics, the location. This property was acquired from the Sells family, who owns the property to your left, and they were kind enough to sell this to us for 1/2 of appraised value as a start to get the project going. We spent, I don't know how many hours Ralph and I have spent on the phone or in my office. Okay, who can we call? How much do you think they'll give? Well, do you think this person will support it? And there were lots of people working on the fundraising, but I can stand here before you today and assure you that Ralph went and met a lot of people and wrote a lot of handwritten thank you notes and called on people and worked it. And he made the relationship with the Lowrys. The Lowrys got involved, so we got into the planning process. What do we need? Well, we need space. And the Spay and Neuter Clinic was one of the key components of the project when we began the design. As we got through the design and we looked at available funding versus what could be built, we had to start making some engineering choices as to what we could afford. And unfortunately, at that time, the Spay Neuter Clinic was determined to be an element of the project that would have to be done later. So we set the original shelter up to accommodate the animals with the hopes that we could eventually do a Spay and Neuter Clinic. And due to the hard work of others and the generosity of the Lowrys, we've been able to do this addition to the building. So standing here today, I feel like this is one of those projects that I've been around since the 90s in conversations about doing something, and I can very proudly stand here today and say thank you to each and every one of you, to all of our supporters and contributors for a project well done and complete. Thank you.
Hi. Okay, so February is actually Spay Neuter Awareness Month. So what a better time to have a ribbon cutting and an open house for our Spay Neuter Clinic. We all know that animals give us unconditional love. And we are just determined to make sure that the animals in our community, the animals in our shelter, are given the best care possible through our new clinic. So being able to take care of our animals in a very timely manner, be able to have them spayed and neutered quickly so that they could hopefully get a new home much quicker than when we had to transport them to the local vets, who were very supportive and have always helped us do everything. This just really speeds up the process for them to find a new home. I am so thankful that Judy and Doug share an unbelievable love for animals. Because of their commitment to improve the lives of the animals in our community, we now have this wonderful facility. Like everyone has said, Judy and Doug have been longtime supporters of the shelter. They helped make the new shelter possible, and now they finally made this dream of everyone's a reality here. So on behalf of all the animals and the people in the community, I want to say thank you to Doug and Judy. I also want to just say that, thank you to all of my staff, my new staff here in the clinic. We have an amazing staff here in the Spay Neuter Clinic. They do top-notch service, and I could not be more proud of my employees and the Spay Neuter Clinic and everybody involved in making this happen.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's not Rihanna, but we have a star among us. And her name is Daisy Duke. Look over here. Daisy Duke and Joe Avento are here with us, and so after I think you'll allow pets, won't you? Okay. Thank you for coming.
And now, Mayor Grandy, if you would come up and say a few words for us, please, sir. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. I think our only county commissioner, Kenny Huffine, thank you. And a new chairman of the board. So, and Mark, just want to say thanks for this weather. I really appreciate it. We'll be happy to get out of the shadows and out in the sun. And Daisy Duke, we came in together, and you're just a perfect one to have out here for today. But anyway, special day, and this clinic is the result of really hard work from the board. And I just want to say to Jenny Brock, she has been, she stayed on the board longer than she wanted to, I'll guarantee it, to see this project through. And Jenny has been a really super supporter of, this is one of the old county-city partnerships. It's over 40 years old, and I think it really says a lot for our community that the county and the city can work together on something that's this important. And the Lowrys are really super special people. I've known Doug and Judy for a long time. They're extremely generous, whether it's the Children's Hospital or whether it's the Spay Neuter Clinic. They are proactive thinkers, and this is an example of a proactive project. This facility will save hundreds of litters from being born that are unborn, and give this community an opportunity to actually become a kill-free shelter for dogs and cats collectively. So, Judy and Doug, I just want to say thank you for all you do and all the support that you have offered in the community, and especially for the animals that we love so much. Thank you.
We'll see if this works or not. Now, just before we start for the moment we really are here for, I want to call out a couple people. One is, again, thanks for the great weather, Mark. But Mark is a great supporter of this shelter. I'm sure you see his tells and calls on a regular basis. Mark, thank you for everything that you do for this shelter. Really appreciate it. What I'd like to do is I'll introduce a few people and have them come up, and we'll do a ribbon cutting. So, fellow board members, Bob Wilson, come on up. Jenny, Linda. Our advisory board for the clinic, we have Dr. Emily Baum, Judge Suzanne Cook, Also from our shelter board and president of the foundation, Mona Baharini. Mona, I'm going to ask you to invite up the rest of the members of the foundation board, please.
We have Brian Parlier, our vice president, Candy Cox, secretary, Mary Finucane, treasurer, Barbara Mason, Christy Rabatoy, Libby Lewis, Jeannie Carr, Julie West, and Robbie Davis. And we're proud to be able to help support the animal shelter.
Andrew, I'm going to ask for you and your staff to come on up. At the conclusion, I'm going to let you introduce your staff before we go in so everyone knows who's going to give the tours. I also see back there in the back of the crowd, former board member and good friend Gary McAllister. He helped contribute a lot to this too. Gary, would you please come up and join us? And I'm not sure where Joe went, but we do need the star of the show here, Daisy Duke. All right. Aaron, would you join us as well? Pete, everyone come on around here. Mark. Yeah. Mr. Bob Cantler with the chamber will put the ribbon out for us.
Hey, Baxter, you want to come up here too?
If we got any other cats that want to participate, you know?
All right. Everybody got scissors? Who's got scissors? Now, you're doing what's called a fake cut first. Fake cut means you're looking up, not looking down. So everybody take a picture. Smile. And we're ready to cut. When I get to 1, you all cut. 3, 2, 1.